Amanda and I work for the Springwater Public Library. And welcome to Storytime. I'm so excited that you're here today with me because today we are going to be talking about Halloween. Is everybody excited about Halloween? Sometimes people really like Halloween and sometimes people don't like Halloween. Sometimes they find it scary. And I have to say that I feel a little bit of both. I really like Halloween because I like to get dressed up. I like to see lots of everybody else dressed up. And I also like to get candy because that's pretty fun. But sometimes I don't like Halloween because people think it's fun to be scary. And I don't like scary things. So it's okay to feel a little bit mixed up about Halloween. But do you know one of the fun things about Halloween that I really, really like? Carving my pumpkin. Do you carve a pumpkin? Not everyone does, and you usually need an adult's help to carve a pumpkin because there's sharp things involved. But I like eating the pumpkin seeds after. I like carving a funny face into my pumpkin, and I like lighting it up on Halloween night and seeing it glowing. So today we are going to talk about pumpkins and Halloween. And, oh wait, I think I need to get a little bit more in character for this story time. Give me 1 second. Okay, there. Now, what do you think? I think I look a little more in the Halloween spirit. So sit back, relax, and welcome to our not spooky Halloween story time. So the first song that we're going to sing is Open Them, Shut Them. So we'll get our little ghost fingers ready. Maybe they're not ghost fingers, maybe they're monster fingers or bat fingers or pumpkin fingers, I don't know. Let's get our Halloween fingers ready and we're gonna go open and shut them, open and shut them, give them a big clap, clap, clap. Open and shut them, open and shut them, put them in your lap. Creep them, slowly creep them right up to your chin. Open wide. Boo. But do not let them in. Because it's still the beginning of story time and we might still have some wiggles left in us, I think we're going to do a song where we get up and move around and get some of our wiggles out. So, we're going to do Monster, Monster. So we're gonna go monster, monster, turn around. Can you turn around? Monster, monster, touch the ground. Monster, monster, reach up high with your monster claws. Monster, monster, touch the sky, go even higher, monster. Monster, monster, touch your nose. Monster, monster, touch your toes. Monster, monster, touch your knees. Can you touch your knees? Monster, monster, sit down, please. So the next little song we're going to sing is about 5 little pumpkins. And I bet you've heard this song before. Maybe you haven't. But it's such a good song. And we're going to have 5 little pumpkins. You can see I have little pumpkins on my fingers. Can you see them? Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to sing a little song about 5 little pumpkins. 5 little pumpkins sitting on a gate. The first one said, "Oh my, it's getting late." The second one said, "There are witches in the air." And the third one said, "Well, we don't care." The fourth one said, "Let's run and run and run and run and run and run and run." And the fifth one said, "Let's have some fun." Then, ooh, went the wind and out went the lights and 5 little pumpkins rolled out of sight. So the book that we're going to read today is called The Very Best Pumpkin. And I am able to read this book online and out loud because Simon & Schuster Publishing House has allowed librarians such as myself to read their books online. So thank you, Simon & Schuster. Now, let's read about The Very Best Pumpkin. Do you think that you have the very best pumpkin at home? Maybe you do. The Very Best Pumpkin. Down a winding country lane and over a rolling hill, you'll find Pumpkin Hollow Farm, where a young boy named Peter lives with his grandparents, Mimi and Papa. In the spring, they grow plump, juicy strawberries, and in summer, corn, crisp and sweet as honey. But it's in the fall that Mimi and Papa's farm produces the most wonderful crop of all. Yum! Pumpkins. Big pumpkins, small pumpkins, short pumpkins, tall pumpkins. They grow pumpkins of every shape and size. One summer not so long ago, as Peter was tending his pumpkins, he spotted a long curlicue vine he hadn't noticed before. It twisted and traveled all the way beyond the far edge of the field. Curious, Peter followed where it went. Cautiously, he clambered over pumpkin after pumpkin as he trailed the vine into the nearby meadow. At the vine's very end, much to Peter's surprise, he discovered a tiny pumpkin growing all by itself among the weeds. Poor little pumpkin, thought Peter. It's awfully lonely out here. Carefully, Peter cleared the weeds so the pumpkin could enjoy some sunshine. Then he loosened the soil around the plant and gave it some water. Every day that followed, when Peter had finished tending all the other pumpkins that grew side by side in the field, he hurried out to the meadow to visit his lonely little pumpkin. It says, "Caution, pumpkin growing." Peter was so busy that summer he didn't notice that a new family had moved in next door to Mimi and Papa's farm. Peter's new neighbor, Meg, spent most of her time alone, reading under a tree at the far edge of her yard. She's reading The Secret Garden. One afternoon, as Meg was reading, she heard a noise in the meadow next door. She peeked around just in time to see Peter as he bent to care for his special pumpkin. Day after day, Meg quietly watched, and little by little Peter's pumpkin grew. It grew larger and larger and rounder and plumper and began to change color from pale yellow to dark green, and finally to a deep, rich orange red that glowed in the late summer sun. It was the most beautiful pumpkin Meg had ever seen. Soon the leaves began to change, and the days grew shorter and cooler. Folks began to arrive at Mimi and Papa's farm to select their pumpkins. Peter helped his teacher, Mrs. Clark, choose a pretty little pumpkin for her desk at school. Peter proudly showed off Officer Bailey a big pumpkin in the middle of the field. It would look dandy on the steps of the police station in town. Miss Jane, the librarian, thanked Peter after he helped her pick just the right pumpkins for her award-winning pies. Peter helped pumpkin after pumpkin find a good home, but he was saving one pumpkin. His special pumpkin, the best pumpkin of all. Late one afternoon, Meg and her parents came by the farm to pick their pumpkins. Peter watched as Meg stepped gingerly into the field and began to search. She peeked under giant leaves and crawled over rambling vines and carefully stepped between pumpkin after pumpkin, but couldn't seem to find just the right one. Meg looked here and she looked there. She looked everywhere. Just as she was about to leave, someone stepped up behind her. "I think I might know where to look," Peter said. Peter guided Meg past all the pumpkins in the field until they came upon the wandering vine. "Follow me," he said. They followed the vine to the meadow where Peter's pumpkin grew. "This one's the very best pumpkin," said Peter. "Oh, it's beautiful," Meg cried. Meg shyly told Peter how she'd been there all along, watching him care for his pumpkin. "I knew you were there," Peter confessed. "That's why I'd like you to have it." Together, Meg and Peter carried their special pumpkin across the field to show Meg's parents. Autumn turned into winter, and winter turned into spring. Soon it was summer once again, and Peter was busy tending a new crop of pumpkins side by side with his new friend Meg. Every day they cleared the weeds and tilled the soil and watered the field. And just like the pumpkins, their friendship grew and grew and grew. Well, that's it, my friends. That is our not so spooky Halloween pumpkin story time. And I am so happy that you are here with me to celebrate today because, oh, wait, hold on. I forgot. Because Halloween's a really fun time, if you like it. And I really like to celebrate Halloween, and I'm really happy to celebrate Halloween with you. So let's do our final song, If You're a Monster and You Know It. If you're a monster and you know it, clap your paws. If you're a monster and you know it, clap your paws. If you're a monster and you know it, and you really want to show it. If you're a monster and you know it, clap your paws. If you're a monster and you know it, what else do monsters do? Go roar. If you're a monster and you know it, go roar. If you're a monster and you know it, and you really want to be scary and you want to show it. If you're a monster and you know it, go roar. And if you're just happy that it's Halloween, shout hooray! If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray! If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, shout hooray, hooray! Happy Halloween, everybody! I will see you next week. Enjoy however you go.